Joshua 10, the day the sun stood still. Now that alone is pretty crazy, but the entire story makes it even more wild. So first, the book of Joshua was about being in the promised land and finishing the conquest. The baton was passed, and Joshua and Caleb were in there, cleaning up. So in Joshua 9, they run into the Gibeonites. And the Gibeonites, under false pretense, they put on a disguise, basically, and trick Israel into a lifelong peace treaty. And then their punishment for this trick was basically lifelong tributary to the temple, to be specifically woodcutters and water carriers. That's in Joshua 9. Now, really quick, Joshua 10, that they feared greatly because Gibeon was a great city, as one of the royal cities, and because it was greater than Ai, and all the men thereof were mighty. Now, in Hebrew, that's Giberim. Genesis 6, 1-4, we get the explanation of Giberim is where the giants come from, that bloodline. So they are lifelong tributaries to the temple, woodcutters and water carriers. They are giants. And then in 1 Kings, Solomon's molten sea, it's speculated that they're the ones in charge of filling the molten sea. 5 cubits high, this gigantic thing. Pictures are up. So, setting the stage a little bit, the Gibeonites are now, they're giants, but they're now part of the temple. They've sided with good guys. You can call them good guys or whatever the case. 2 Samuel 21:2 puts, now the Gibeonites were not of the children of Israel, but of the remnant of the Amorites. Amorites, Amos 2:9 tells us Amorites were tall as cedar trees. So that's more line of Giberim, more line of giants. One of which is crazy is part of the temple, and they're filling the molten sea and stuff like that. Now, what's up with that sun? So in Joshua 10:12, then spake Joshua to the Lord in the day when the Lord delivered up the Amorites before the children of Israel. And he said in the sight of Israel, Sun, stand thou still upon Gibeon, and thou moon in the valley of Ajalon. And then the sun stood still, and the moon stayed, until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is not this written in the book of Jasher? So the sun stood still in the midst of heaven, and hasted not to go down about a whole day. Word salad. So basically, Joshua and the Israelites pleaded to God, please don't let the sun set before we can avenge Israel and all of the bad things that these Amorite giants have done. God hears them and says, done, gotcha. Held everything. Now think about physics and the earth spinning and all that kind of stuff. That's wrap your mind around, like, how did that happen? What happened? And whatever. But what happened with that sun? It was started with a tribe of giants tricking and then getting punished and now being part of the temple. And then them battling a really bad line of giants. And then just basically like, please don't let the sun go down before we can kick their butt. God said, check. Wild.